Okay, you can probably see there on the end of that little bit of grease. So far as I can tell, the ball bearing doesn't actually make any sort of contact with the electrical circuit. I think it just positions this, and I'm pretty sure that this is the ground, possibly, this metal tang here, and I think it's just when that metal bit there slides across and makes contact with that. I think I may just have to clean that up. And I'll try to focus on that. This is generally coated in a bit of grease film, so I'll clean it up and see what happens. Okay, so that's it. Don't forget to make sure you don't lose your ball bearing. Mine's just there. And so far as I can tell, this is just a slider. It doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything contact-wise. And this part here, when it slides across and makes a connection, and the ball bearing sits on this hole here. Just have a closer look at that. Okay, so that is in fact a metallic spring lodged down in behind there. However, I can't see how that can be a contact. I think it's just to push the ball bearing out, just so that it locks in into position. Okay, so in behind here, there's two copper splayed out, coming out this side and that side, two copper contact points. So they'd have to press hard on the metal bit here. So, and this is a metallic spring, so there could be a connection in behind there. I'm going to try and prise that up off there and have a look. Okay, so there's the part there. See if that'll focus. And that's the switch. And so that goes in and locks into one of those grooves there through the plastic. So I noticed that this side here is possibly, let's try and bring that in. These might be a good idea just to clean this up, and that's loose, and just splay these out a bit. Could be the old grease. Okay, Toyota, this is not one of your better designs, I must say. So this small part, this small copper part here, came out of here, goes in like so. Just bear with me, these are very small parts. That goes in there. And there's a very small spring inside there. I'll be able to do something about focusing on that. Anyway, there's a very small spring inside of there. Okay, to give you an idea of how small that spring is, you can see the spring there on the left hand side, and that's the size of my small pinky finger. So that is tiny, and there's much better designs, more robust designs out there. Quite frankly, I'm not surprised at all that that's failed. Okay, I'll begin the reassembly. So this is that tiny little part here. I can just get that in the picture. Might have to focus on my fingernails maybe. And the small spring goes inside there, just inside that end bit there. So it's in good focus now. Okay, those copper contacts are just sliding along up against this metal part here. Okay, we've got a bit of focus there now. Okay, so now this is going to go on. This piece of metal, copper there, is going to slot inside the slot here, and this here will lock into that nib there. Okay, so the copper bits, the spring is actually, the very small spring is here, and the splayed out copper bits are coming out here and here. So the copper bits are the permanent contact there. So this is permanently contacted, and this is it makes contact every now and then. So this part here sits out here away from this metal bit, and when it slides back, the right hand side makes contact with this. So I now have to get my very small ball bearing there. I have to put that in that small cup with the spring in it, just there. I have to make sure that ball slots in, I think, to the middle here. Might be able to see that there. And this goes over the back of this sliding system here and locks into that tab. So I'll do that now. I'm just going to get a bit of grease. I'm going to put a dab of grease here, and then I'll get my ball bearing, and that'll sit and the grease will hold it there. Okay, so there it is. Okay, now when you install this, just lift this up, slide it into the slot there, lift this up over, because there's two tabs, there's one here and one here. Just sort of lift it over, put it into place and push it down. Now I'll test it and I'll see what I've got. Okay, the main points of doing this work so far is don't lose that small ball bearing that goes slots in above this switch here. It's very easy to lose. Don't lose the spring with the tang. I think it was faced around this way, the tang that came out that way and out that way to make contacts with this piece of metal here and this piece of metal here. So this part that goes out to there, and this comes into here, so it's got to switch from this one to that to this one here. I believe the fault or the problem was caused by that the little piece of copper that slotted in, that bent that way and that way, had on one side been bent in. I think it was bending that out that fixed it, and also there was a fair amount of grease that I cleaned off on this piece of metal there. Just to illustrate a point, this is a Holden Rodeo made by Isuzu. It's got a dome light that's 25 years old. Okay, now for reassembly. So this metal part just slips over the top of that. I might as well put in my my new LED light. The good thing about these is when you leave the switch on, leave the dome light on, these won't use as much power, and so shouldn't drain your battery. So that should just slide straight out of there because there's a slotted groove through there. These are always a little bit longer, so that gives you an idea of the extra length. So it should be the same thing. Just put it into the hole there and slide it down, then rotate it, and seems to want to come over a bit further. Okay, that's a look at the lens cap. There seems to be two slots there, one at the front and nothing at the side. How I got mine off was, I've got this small driver here, and I just got in the side and I had to push pretty hard, but eventually I was able to work it loose from the plastic frame. Okay, so that's where the dome light goes. It just goes over there like that, and the electrical join there connects to the join here. You see, basically those two screws there have to be in place. You can't just temporarily connect the dome light. You have to actually fix it to the ceiling. Okay, so those two screws there, they have to be in place because that creates a ground for your dome lights. So that will eventually dim, and then I'll just demonstrate the off and on positions. So that's off position, and that is now on. Okay, so the door, which is dimmed now, the off and the on.